Hello and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Jason.
At my signal, unleash hell. This week we recommend Gladiator.
Yeah! Bloodthirsty maniacs.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. So I'm just going to immediately start with how many times I watched this movie in high school.
How many?
Almost twice a year, every year of high school.
Hell yeah.
Man, it's like almost every time in history class, like they put this on. And then in one of my English classes, they put this on. And I remember the year that the semester, whenever I was in high school, my English class, we watched this movie and Romeo and Juliet. I'm not sure which version of Romeo and Juliet.
Was it the older one?
It's an older one. It doesn't seem to have any actors that I recognized.
Yeah, they were the much older. You know, the fun story about that one, they were 15 when they did the sex scene, the nude scene.
Oh, I did not know that.
And it
they
ruined their
children.
lives.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
I'm sure whenever they turned 18, they're like, wish I didn't have my nude body out there.
But the girl, the actress was like 70 years old before she got any kind of apology from anybody from it.
Wow, really? Holy crap. But it's funny now thinking about it, rewatching Gladiator and how violent it is. Like at the beginning, there's this boy just got his head straight cut off. And they're just like, yeah, look at it.
Hell yeah.
And it's funny that nothing in this movie was blocked by my teacher.
That's great.
In Romeo and Juliet,
they
the
cover
nude
up
scene,
the boobies.
She ran in front of the TV to cover it. And now as an adult, I'm like one of these is way worse than the other one.
So my English teacher put this movie on as well, and she put up a piece of paper just above where her boobs show. She's like, hold on, I got to cover her big brown eyes.
That's awesome.
She was so hot, that English teacher.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, she was on fire.
I don't think I ever had an attractive teacher, personally. They've all been older, like way older. So, yeah, we're recommending Gladiator. What do you think? Do you still love this movie?
I really, really do, and it's amazing. And I remember when it first came out, I watched it in theaters, and then when it came out on DVD, that was when computers first started having like disc drives that could play DVDs.
Yeah.
And I was super psyched about it. So once my buddy had one, he just got this brand new computer, and I was going to watch, I was like, I got to try this out. So I put in Gladiator, but I had to go through, and there was so much porn on the computer that I had to delete a lot of it just so I could watch the movie. So I had to go filtering through this list of every type of porn you can imagine. So I started deleting the bestiality first.
What?
It was his younger brother that was downloading this bestiality porn.
Man, I'm not going to lie. Taking notes during this movie, I did not realize where this was leading.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Whoa.
But I watched the movie on the computer, and I was like, this is the best technology on the planet.
Yeah. It is wild. This movie gets me amped. Like, especially the first big Gladiator scene. Well, I mean, you have the first one where they're chained together. That one rules. But man, whenever Maximus is just like, I'm taking charge.
Hell yeah.
And
when they come out on the chariots and stuff.
Dude.
That was awesome.
Watching it a couple weeks ago to prepare, I was like, oh, dude, hold on a second. Because I watched it so much in high school, and it was always on. I was just like, oh, yeah, Gladiator, whatever. And like ever since high school, I haven't watched it. And I always just thought, it's one of those sword and shield movies. It's like, whatever. It's fine. Man, I watched it again. Oh my God, this movie's the best. I was like, oh, this is why everybody loves this movie. It's just flat out good.
It's so awesome.
And there's a little bit of CGI, but it's a little janky, but like not during the scenes that matter, not the fight scenes. They're just like, it's real. It's just gonna happen. Because whenever I saw the tigers, I was like, some of those got to be CGI tigers. Nope, all real tigers.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
They're mean tigers.
I have some facts about that tiger scene.
Oh no.
Not so bad for the tigers, but almost bad for Russell Crowe.
Oh.
Yeah. So Russell Crowe, man, what happened? You know, where'd he go? I mean, other than the fact that he just like ran around like the country world just wanting to fight everybody in bars.
The great South Park episode.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, oh man. And then I think the last really good movie that I saw him in was The Nice Guys, which you haven't seen.
I don't remember
That's
the
Shane
last movie. I think it was the last movie he was in like recently. The
Pope's Exorcist.
The Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, that was the one that Dakota said was Kurt Russell, and then
Oh,
none of us batted an eye. We're like, yep, he's in it.
Sure.
Well, I mean, they're practically, Russell Crowe, Kurt Russell, same last names. So this film stars Russell Crowe, as we just said, and Walking Phoenix, the goddamn man. He's so good in this movie. Oliver Reed, who plays Proximo.
Oh, yeah.
He's great. Connie Nielsen, Lucilia. Right? Lucilia?
That's the Emperor's sister?
That's a girl, yeah.
The girl.
The girl.
I guess, yeah. There's not really a whole lot of...
I want you to tell me, who do you think Marcus Aurelius is? Search your brain and try to tell me where you know that actor from.
Christopher Lloyd. I cannot remember where.
No, he's Richard Harris.
Okay.
Do you know who Richard Harris played? He played a prominent character in the first two movies of a series.
You mean Lord of the Rings?
No. Harry Potter. He was the first Dumbledore.
Oh.
How perfect is it that we just did Fantastic Mr. Fox starring the second Dumbledore, and then we immediately go to this one and it has the first Dumbledore. I was just like, oh wait, that's the first Dumbledore. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I see it now.
Because the day that we recorded that episode, we put on Gladiator, and I was like, whoa. So much Dumbledore here recently.
Dumble more, please.
Nailed it. And then you got, I don't know how to say his name. The Dimon Hansu?
What?
Yeah, that was terrible. He's his friend in the Gladiator arena, the black guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he's awesome.
He's in so many movies randomly. He's like in all the old bunch of MCU movies, and he looks the same constantly throughout his career. It's crazy.
He's fucking huge and cool.
Yeah, he's great. He's always so good in everything he's in. So let's head to some facts. So for the opening sequence, Scott actually burned down the forest. Just straight up burned it down. So the film starts in Northern Europe in 180 AD, where the Roman Empire go into battle with Germania tribes. It's a huge battle sequence with hundreds of extras, explosions, and fire. And Ridley Scott actually found a bit of luck here because the sequence was filmed in Bournemouth, Surrey in England, and the Royal Forestry Commission had slated the area for deforestation. Damn. So Ridley Scott was allowed to burn it down and film it.
Hell yeah. What a great day for filming.
I know. He's like, wait, there's an actual forest we can burn down. Let's go. God, that had to be so great.
That's incredible.
It's like awesome for him, bad for the planet.
Bad for the environment,
Sheesh,
yes. But it's like one of those rooms full of glass objects that you can just go in and break stuff.
And just think like there's probably like a bunch of apartment complexes on that land now. And they're like,
yeah.
Whoa. Some guy got his head chopped off here. Cool.
Yeah, they're finding props from the movie in the dirt. And they're like, oh, shit.
This is where Maximus was betrayed by Commodus. Cool. So at first, Ridley Scott, the director, which is why we're doing this movie, because Napoleon's out with Walking Phoenix. I probably won't get to watch it until it comes out on Blu-ray, but we're still celebrating Ridley Scott, one of our best filmmakers ever to do it, you know?
And I think, didn't Napoleon like practice cannon fire on the Colosseum and he did it to a bunch of statues. I know he did a lot in Egypt, but I was wondering if he did it in Rome also.
I hope when we watch it, we just see him doing that and be like, whoa. I mean, if he did do that and they don't show it in the movie, what are we doing? Why would Ridley Scott make the movie? Which a Napoleon movie has been in the works forever, all the way with like Stanley Kubrick, who did 2001 Space Odyssey and The Shining. That was supposed to be his next movie. Well, he was going to do AI, then he was going to do Napoleon. but then he died before he could do those 2 movies. So, anyways, just some stuff about Ridley Scott.
I'm psyched about the Napoleon movie. I want to watch it so
I
bad.
know. I don't think it's getting great reviews, but honestly, I feel like the past few movies of his hasn't gotten very good reviews, and I've still loved them. House of Gucci, just a masterpiece and just super serious cinema, but it's hilarious. Have you seen that? House of Gucci?
I have not.
Oh
I don't
my
think
gosh.
So, but isn't
Father, son, House of Gucci. So good. It's one of the best lines in film.
I listened to a podcast about the guy who killed the Gucci,
Mr. Gooch.
Mr. Gooch
Mr. Gooch
himself.
Oh, really? That's awesome. What?
Because he was murdered, right?
Yeah, like they well, I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but I'm sure everybody knows about the Gucci murders.
I mean, it's like
he was a hired assassin.
A hired assassin. I thought it was the serial killer guy.
No. Are you thinking of a different guy?
Maybe.
Yeah, you're thinking of Versace.
Oh, yes, I am thinking of Versace.
You're thinking of Mr. Versace, because that was the guy that the crazy guy. I know who you're talking about.
He was nuts. All right, never mind.
Yeah, he thought he was like he was in with the
spaghetti.
Because that was the guy that was like super awkward around Lisa Kudrow and stuff at some parties and stuff. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Can't remember his name to save my life.
Nope.
But anyway, Scott was convinced to take the gig because of a painting. DreamWorks, they always wanted Ridley Scott to be the man to helm the movie, but he wasn't certain. So to convince him, the head of DreamWorks, Walter F. Parks, and the producer, Douglas Wick, told Scott that they wanted to do the film with him. And to visualize it, they showed a painting from 1972 called Police Verso. I'm sorry, I don't speak Rome. Which means thumbs down, and shows a gladiator standing over a beaten opponent. Scott loved the painting so much it played a part in him signing on to direct the film. It's literally just like what you think a gladiator would look like. I mean, you can see almost the exact painting in the film at a certain point. And the guy's helmet, and he's just like he's standing over a guy and like looking into the crowd, and the crowd's like, "Aye." Exactly. And they like have some like thought bubbles, and it just says, "Hey." Just kidding. So Scott wanted to depict ancient Rome as realistically as possible. Ridley Scott was very keen on avoiding what he thought as the swords and sandals cliches in Gladiator. Things like people lounging about, eating grapes, drinking wine from goblets. He wanted his film to have a grounded realism, and he and his team went all out to achieve that. The costume designer was called Janty Yates, and she and her team created over 10,000 costumes for the cast and extras, and almost 30,000 pieces of armor were created for the movie.
Whoa.
Most of the Rome set scenes were filmed in Malta, and that included building a replica of the Colosseum. It was 52 feet tall, took 7 months to build, and cost $1 million.
Wow.
State-of-the-art digital effects were created to provide establishing shots of the city, pushing the boundaries of what was possible at the time.
I do remember watching the extras of this movie, of the DVD.
Yeah.
And it talks about how they recreated the Colosseum. Oh, it's so fucking cool just to see it all like rebuilt, from rubble.
That's wild. I mean, it only cost $1 million. I just thought
$1 million.
I thought it cost a little more than that, honestly. Now with inflation, am I right, y'all?
In this economy?
Thanks, Obama. I think I'm funny. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is something that we just don't have in movies now. Like I was thinking, especially for later categories like the good, the bad, and the ugly, I was like, dude, this would all just be CGI. Like everything would be, so much of it would be CGI.
Yes.
This was $100 million movie, and it's worth it, right? Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, just to create those giant set pieces.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
I know. So there were other names up for the lead role. The lead character is Maximus, played by Russell Crowe. Scott cast Crowe after seeing him in Romper Stomper, a 1992 Australian drama, which just he sounds like a perfect film for Russell Crowe. And he said that he was someone worth watching, but most notably, there were other rumors of people he wanted to cast. One was Mel Gibson was offered the role, but he turned it down.
Good.
Gibson says he was too old to play Maximus, and Scott denies he was ever even offered the part.
Wow.
Also considered to play Maximus was Hugh Jackman and Antonio Banderas.
Ooh, I don't know about Antonio. Hugh Jackman would have been cool.
Yeah, he's too short though.
I guess.
Boy, small.
I guess we can't do anything about that with movies.
Actually, I have no idea how tall Hugh Jackman is. He just plays Wolverine. He's supposed to be a short little guy, and so I just always assumed he's smaller. I don't know.
He's one of the hobbits.
Yeah. So Crowe was convinced to take the part by another famous filmmaker. Russell Crowe said that when he was first approached to play Maximus, the script was very poor. It was so bad the producers wouldn't send it to him in case it put him off.
Oh, wow.
Instead, they just asked him to meet Ridley Scott. Crowe did get his hands on the script, though, and didn't like it. He was going to say no, but when he was working on The Insider, a Michael Mann film, Michael Mann told Crowe he should meet with Scott anyway. Crowe did and said, Ridley's pitch was basically, we've got $100 million budget. It's ancient Rome. You're playing a general, and you're being directed by me.
Yes.
Golly, that's so cool. I mean, it's like, hey, have you heard of
yours truly?
Have you heard of Alien and Blade Runner? Yeah, that was done by me, so you're in, okay?
But Russell Crowe's just like, do I get to fight?
Do I fight?
Yeah.
Tell me, what if I actually didn't fight with swords? I just used my fist. It's like, was I even, what? I don't know what accent that was. So Crowe didn't like the script. Crowe was so unhappy with the script during production that he would frequently walk off the set and initially refuse to say the famous line, I have my vengeance in this life or the next. Crowe later said to the screenwriter, your lines are garbage and I'm the greatest actor in the world and I can make even garbage sound good.
Nice.
The writer later said, in Russell's defense, my lines were garbage. So, Joaquin Phoenix, he wasn't convinced by his own performance. So he played Commodus. Phoenix was Ridley Scott's first choice, but he did have one other name in consideration in case it didn't work out, Jude Law.
I was thinking that Jude Law would
he'd
be
pretty
cool
good.
for this.
He'd be pretty good. But now he's the young pope, so Joaquin Phoenix is a big name now. But at the time this film was a big step up for him, he was very nervous about playing the role. He felt so out of his depth that he offered to pay the producers back for his hotel and travel if they let him walk away from the movie.
Jeez.
And before filming scenes with Crowe, he would ask Crowe to slap him about and do a bit of, I don't know, try to like pump him up for the scene and like make him upset. So Crowe said to him, why don't you try acting, you little maggot? And Phoenix said, oh, that was good. Can we go now? Phoenix was so...
Damn, Russell.
I know. Phoenix was so intense in that role. Immediately after filming the scene where Commodus kills Marcus Aurelius by squeezing his life out of him, Phoenix passed out on the set. Crowe spoke to Richard Harris, who plays Marcus Aurelius, and said, what am I going to do with this kid? He keeps asking me to abuse him before takes. And Harris, being Harris, said, let's get him pissed. And they took him for a few pints of Guinness.
That's great.
There's always like stories about Joaquin Phoenix on sets where he's just such an uncomfortable guy. Like if you ever watch interviews with him, he just looks like he hates doing it. It's so weird. He's
so perfect at making me feel uncomfortable.
I know, he's so good at it. And he's such a good actor, but he just seems like he doesn't like acting. I listen to interviews with him all the time, and most recently I listened to one on Smartless, and it just seemed like he did not want to talk about himself or anything at all. I'm just like, do you just act because you're like, I'm too uncomfortable to do anything else?
Yeah.
It's so weird. But Joaquin Phoenix is one of my probably top 5 actors ever.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's great. Have you ever seen Her?
I've watched I've watched like the first hour of it.
God,
I haven't seen
I love that
a whole lot
movie.
of it.
So mad he did.
Maybe.
I just want him to win
I don't know.
Oscars.
I know
That's
he
it.
falls in love with the AI.
Yeah.
That was
Little phone thing.
Yeah,
it's great.
It was getting weird.
I went as, it is beautiful and shut up. We will eventually do that. I was thinking maybe in February when it's like Valentine's Day.
All right, yeah.
So the real life Commodus may have been even more ruthless than the movie version. So Commodus is based on a real life person, the former emperor of Rome, and it seems the real Commodus was just as merciless. He was born to a mother who had slept with a gladiator and then bathed in said gladiator's blood. Because of this, Commodus referred to himself as the Gladiator Emperor and would fight in the Colosseum. Whenever he fought, his opponents would be stabbed in the back before the fight, which is what happens to Maximus.
Oh, that's bad.
Commodus would also take people with disabilities into the Colosseum arena, tie them together, and club them to death.
Wow.
He was such a megalomaniac that he renamed Rome to be called Colonia Commodania.
It really rolls off the tongue.
Really nailed it. And he began charging the state for his appearances in the Colosseum. He charged them so much that the value of Roman currency fell, and historians say this is what directly led to the fall of Roman Empire.
Jeez.
Commodus was eventually killed for his indiscretions. He was poisoned when in the bath, and when he vomited up the poison, he was strangled by a wrestler named Narcissus. Interestingly, Narcissus was Maximus's name in the first draft of Gladiator.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, sorry.
I thought Narcissus, because Narcissus, like narcissism comes from, there's like a story of a Greek guy who would like look at himself in the water and like thought he was the best. So like I didn't know. It's like
Narcissus.
Narcissus.
Well, that might actually, now that I'm looking at the word more clearly and without the microphone in my face, it does look more like Narcissus.
I don't know.
But yeah, maybe he was just named after that guy because he was a wrestler. Or maybe that was like
handsome.
That was his wrestling name.
Yeah, pretty boy.
Whenever he cut promos in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
I am nauseous. Give me a puzzle to look at. So the tigers were real. So a memorable element of the fight between Maximus and Tigris, the Gaul, is that Commodus has several live tigers released into the arena. Not a movie establishment. This idea was based on reality, as the Romans would often throw tigers and lions into the Colosseum unannounced for the gladiators to deal with. Crazy? Seems a little ridiculous. But Ridley Scott had 5 tigers on set, and for safety reasons, they had an expert on hand with a gun loaded with tranquilizer darts, should anything go wrong. The tigers weren't supposed to be allowed within 15 feet of Russell Crowe, but due to a miscalculation, the biggest tiger, which was 11 feet long, got within 2 feet of him and swiped at him. That shot is in the film. So that really close shot of it. Yeah,
that's
so that
real?
wasn't CGI. That was real.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
sick.
no.
Oh God, it's so scary.
It's like, I'm glad he didn't get cut, but that was cool.
That's cool as fuck. And they covered him in trout, which didn't help it.
Covered him in trout.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, why did we just put so much like deer urine all over me right before this? We knew that the tigers would want to eat me.
Do I need to be covered in fancy feast right now?
Right? Like, this seems unnecessary. So a key part of the Colosseum fight was incorrectly based on reality. Something we see all the way through the film is the famous thumbs up and thumbs down that the emperor gives whenever he wants the people to die or whatever. In reality, it was actually the other way around. Thumbs up meant death and thumbs down meant mercy. But due to the fact that nowadays thumbs up is a good sign, they went the opposite.
All right.
Yeah.
That could have been confusing.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Right. So
future folk.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I would have got it. I was like, oh, okay. So that means,
you get it immediately. You're like, oh, I mean,
so that means that was good. Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. There would probably be like as soon as he does that and he kills it, there'd be like a cut to like somebody being like, that actually means it's he dies. So yeah, it's not like that now, but that's actually what it means. The person next to him, what are you talking about?
Or just like some kid be like, what's that mean, mommy?
What's that? What? Why is we getting wrong, mom?
Because they're in Cockney syndrome at the time.
Why do we sound like we from 1950s and now we in Roman times?
Gee willikers.
So Oliver Reed, who plays Proximo, sadly died during midway through production.
That sucks.
Oliver Reed famously passed away during the filming 3 weeks before production ended. A legendary hellraiser, he died in the pub during a break in shooting after drinking 8 pints of German lager, a dozen shots of rum, half a bottle of whiskey, and a few shots of cognac, and after beating 5 Royal Navy sailors at arm wrestling. A clause in the movie's insurance contract would have let Ridley Scott reshoot all of Reed's scenes, but most of the actors and crew were exhausted, and Scott didn't want to cut Reed from the movie. So the writer was flown back in to do rewrites, and a body double and CGI were used to give Reed's character a different ending. Thing is, man, it's like I don't notice it when I watch it.
I want to watch the movie about his life.
I want to watch just
him at the bar.
Oliver Reed.
Sounds like a good
his
hang.
last night. Just straight up, just drunk as can be.
Having the best night of his fucking life.
Right.
That's awesome.
So this is the last little fact I got, and it's great. So the ending of originally was very different. The film ends with Juba bearing the figurines of Maximus's family in the Colosseum before heading back to his family in Africa. Originally, though, before the death of Oliver Reed, it was supposed to be Proximo bearing the figures in the sand. Also, Maximus didn't die in the original version of the script, and Scott Crow changed it on set. Crow later said, I remember Ridley coming up to me on set saying, look, the way this is shaping up, I don't see how you live. This character is about one act of pure vengeance for his wife and child. And once he's accomplished that, what does he do? Does he end up running a fucking pizzeria by the Colosseum? Wow,
That'd be great.
Really nailed that.
Yeah, a nice happy ending.
That would have been awesome. Snake, come here.
Get your spaghetti.
Sit down, buddy. I'm sorry. I know.
Spaghetti pizza.
I wish I got to play with you.
You see him just like with his
Why do you have to
gladiator
do
sword,
this?
just chopping pizzas.
Yeah,
slicing
right.
them into 8 pieces.
It's like, hey, where's Tigris, the Gaul? Come get a slice of pizza. It's a Maximus a pizzeria. If you eat my pizza, I might not be a gladiator anymore. I don't know. I'm cutting that part. All right, bro. You ready to hop into the movie?
Yeah, man.
So we start with a 12-year war with barbarians. It's 180 AD. We see our boy touching wheat, boy touching grass out there. We see Maximus. He's walking through his forces. They're all like weirdly smiling at him. And then we see that they're like waiting on somebody to come up. They're like, it's been 2 hours. We can tell by the sun or whatever. And then a man comes up on a horse. We're thinking, oh, here we go. We're about to start the battle. Turns out that guy ain't got no head no more.
They didn't like what he had to say.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, here we go. And after the guy rides up on the horse with no head, one of the other guys like, people should know when they're conquered because this is like the last battle with the Germanian barbarians, right? It's Germanian?
Yeah.
And so they're essentially like, this is it. Like once they kill them all, this is the end of the barbarians.
Hell yeah, and they get to go home.
Yeah.
They're
And
excited.
then the great line by Russell Crowe, at my signal, unleash hell.
And
Pretty
then the
cool.
dog runs, like, is the dog's name Hell also?
I don't know.
Is it just like, let my
Pretty
dog
great.
go?
Yeah.
That's
It's
what
like he's just like running around with him. It's great.
he's a cool dog.
It's like, I don't know. It looked like a blue Hitler, kind of like my dog, but like darker.
It's scary.
Scary. So as they attack, General Maximus Decimus Meridius leads his Roman legion to victory against Germanic barbarians in the year 100 AD.
Hell yeah, man. They fucked him up hard.
Yeah.
Like, they've got all those war machines,
Mhm.
and the barbarians are just sitting there taking it.
Yeah. And yeah, it's crazy because they start firing and all the barbarians like, yeah, they're just like getting hit with arrows. I'm like, y'all should probably go. Y'all should start attacking
Dude, so
at some point, you know? And then so essentially they win the war. It's great. It's a dope fight.
Yeah.
You got catapults. Russell Crowe's like,
Fucking
or
sweet.
some guys like, we need to move the catapults. Russell Crowe's like, who cares if we kill some of our own men? Great guy. And then we see, like, gets the ending of a prolonged war and earning esteem for elderly Emperor Marcus Aurelius. It's an awesome battle. Looks dope. Then we cut to the Emperor's son, Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and daughter Lucilia. They have been summoned to join the campaign because Marcus Aurelius is about to name his successor, because that boy on his deathbed. And we see Commodus. He's weird AF.
Yeah.
Really wants to put it into his sister.
Yeah. He thinks about that a lot.
Yeah. And then Commodus talks about having some sort of games once he becomes ruler, which we'll learn to be the Gladiator Games. Boy just wants to put on a show, you know? If he wasn't a douche, he'd be a great
Yeah, he was
leader.
a giant douche.
150 days of Gladiator Awards. Back in the day, he'd be like, are you kidding me?
Sounds
like,
incredible.
Hey, now every day there's a football game on. Everybody'd be like, what? No way. All the dudes be like, let's go.
We got a lot of people to murder.
All the wives
in
like,
public.
God dang it.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I wouldn't be able to watch any gladiator battles, would you?
No bloody
I
and
just-
stuff. I don't know. I mean,
I feel
back
bad during
then-
UFC. I watch UFC, I'm like, dude, like that
Ow,
seems
owie.
painful. The guy eventually a guy gets on the ground and he's like passed out, and the guy's like hitting him like 10 times after he's passed out, and the ref's like, okay, you can stop now. I'm like, could we have stopped it 10 punches ago? I feel bad over here. But it's been a while since I watched it. Maybe I would enjoy it now.
I don't know. I mean, back then there really wasn't a whole lot to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is like the best thing ever. I don't know. I probably could have watched
playing dominoes or dice or whatever. I don't even know if they did that.
Like everybody died all the time.
Oh wait, no. Back then we see them. They're just playing with cobras and
the
throwing things
Cobra
at them.
game. That was
like,
cool.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know either. It looks dangerous.
So Marcus Aurelius asks Maximus what he wants, and he says he wants to go home. And then there's like, oh, okay, whatever you want, but not really. And they're in the battlefield. It's like, look, they're all cheering for you, Marcus Aurelius. He's like, no, Maximus, they cheer for you. And he raises his hand. They're like, yeah. But then Weasley old Commodus shows up after the battle, and Marcus is pretty dismissive of him. It's pretty awkward. Because Commodus is like, take my hand, father.
Father.
He's like, get that to you. I don't know why I'm talking like that.
That's scoozy.
And then there's more talk of Maximus wanting to go home. Oh boy, just wants to see his wife. Dang it.
Yeah, he says it's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
Over 2 years.
The wife's just like, I don't know if he's dead, dude. Like, I don't know. At this point, just whatever. If you're just going to keep leaving me for 2 years, just be gone. Commodus, confident he'll be chosen, is friendly to Maximus, calling him brother. Commodus wants Maximus by his side so he can be stronger because Commodus is assuming that he's going to be the successor.
Yeah.
We learn Lucilia and Maximus apparently had a romantic involvement at some point in time. In the past, Commodus is concerned that it will trouble her to see him again. Seemed like whatever she did to him messed him up. I mean, he was like super like rude to her when he sees her soon.
Well, it's like, I mean, she is kind of a cold woman.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then she kind of like, wait, my brother's in charge.
Yeah,
like,
he's worse.
Going to get molested by this guy.
He's gonna kill my kid.
Yeah. Marcus tells Lucilia he asked her to come because of her brother, who's very fond of her, and will soon need her more than ever because she's probably a better leader. But he's like, I wish you were born a man. You would have been a great leader.
But
it's like,
hey,
let's give her a shot, dude. You know,
yeah.
Let's just give her a shot. It seemed to would have worked out a lot better, you know.
Yes.
Actually, Commodus probably just killed her or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have figured it out.
Yeah. Marcus appoints the morally upstanding Maximus as his successor, with the understanding that Maximus will eventually restore the Roman Republic by returning power to the Senate. Maximus, longing to go home to his wife and son, tries to decline the honor, but Marcus Aurelius insists that not wanting the job makes Maximus the best man for it.
Yeah, he's like, too fucking bad, Max.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
And Marcus says Rome has become nasty and evil and that Maximus is the son that he never had.
Yeah, the son he should have had.
Yeah.
Do you think Commodus is like listening to all this?
He's like, Father,
Pop,
I can't believe you'd say that.
But Daddy.
What's the accent where we got going on? Nah, he is pretty ruthless to his son, though. We'll see in a second. Lucilia and Maximus talk. She wants to know what they're She wants to know what Maximus and Marcus talked about. God, there's so many M names in the beginning. Maximus doesn't seem to care that much for her. Maybe, I'm assuming a bad breakup. Maybe she cheated on him. I don't know. We learned that Lucilia was married, but he died, and she has a 8-year-old son, Lucius. Which I don't know. I didn't like the kid. Goddamn guy. He ruined everything. Made me so mad. It's like, God dang it. Like, why would you tell him that? Like,
that her kid's 8?
Well, no. I mean, just like later when Lucius just tells Commodus everything. We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about it when we get there. It pisses me off so much. Even watching it this morning, I was like, God dang it, kid. So Maximus, he's praying for his family. He asks advice from his loyal servant Cicero and tells him they may not be able to go home because he's deciding that he's going to take up command for Marcus Aurelius. So Commodus and Marcus, they meet to talk. Marcus tells him that Commodus will not be the emperor. At the end of the talk, in which Commodus accuses his father of not recognizing his virtues and never loving him, Commodus confesses that all he ever wanted was his father's love and approval, and then he smothers him to death.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius is like, okay, fine, first hug ever, here we go.
Yeah,
He
let's
kills
do this. Yeah, it's too late, father. It's like, you're about to die anyways. Let's get this over with. But there is the dope line, like, your faults as a son are my failure as a father.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah. It's like, yeah, bro, you've been at war too long.
It's time to heal.
You need to freaking
Commodus.
like you should be teaching your son. If you know that your son's going to be leading and you're like, wait, he seems kind of demented, but if he's got to be the next leader because that's how this works, maybe I should spend more time
Spend a little more time with him.
Force him, or if you don't really care for him, force him in the battlefield, let him die.
And why wouldn't Commodus just like go back to Rome, okay, and say, well, Senate's in power now?
Yeah. Well, right. It's like
he seemed too old to be out there on the battlefield.
Yeah, I know. Just like, all right, I'm decreeing Senate has all power, and Max. Like, you got to tell people. Don't just tell one person. Just be like, when you're like a king, almost because in Game of Thrones this happens too.
Yes.
Whenever the Barthen, whatever his name is, the very first season when it's like, hey, Sean Bean's gonna be the king, and then but everything goes wrong, and it's like, well, no one heard you say any of this, so now no one's gonna believe you. So great, like, I don't know, put a poster up or something. I don't know. Yeah, that usually drives me crazy in these types of movies. Like, why? B-word is too confident.
He was too confident that no one was gonna murder him.
Yeah,
I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, declaring himself emperor, Commodus asks Maximus for his loyalty, which Maximus, realizing Commodus' involvement in Marcus Aurelius' death, because he like sniffs it out. He's just like, he kisses him. This was a murder. He refuses his hand in loyalty. Commodus orders Maximus arrested and executed, and dispatches the Praetorian guards to murder Maximus's wife and young son. Maximus narrowly escapes his execution and races home, only to discover his family's charred and crucified bodies and smoldering ruins of Villa.
Oh, that was messed up.
And then after burying his wife and son, Maximus succumbs to exhaustion and collapses on the graves. Yeah, that kid, he got straight up run over by that horse. That looked brutal. I was like, whoa, that looks so real.
He's like, Papa, Papa.
It's like, blah.
Kicked in the face by a horse or something.
Yeah. And
trampled to death.
But this is all great. Because I don't know. It's just like, give me a soldier's death. And then he just straight up just murders all of them.
That was sweet.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have to just shoot an arrow at the guy, you know? Like, do we have to do this whole, like,
I mean, I feel like they probably knew him.
Yeah, and I guess they liked him, but it seemed like what is it, Praetorian Guard. They seem more like just by the Rome side more so than by his side, I guess.
I suppose.
Yeah,
they're loyal to the emperor only.
Another thing is whenever he gets to his family and they're like charred and like hanging, like there's so much mucus coming out of
his face.
Russell Crowe's face. I was like, he goes in like touches his face to their foot,
crying.
And it's just like, I was like, holy crap, that's more disgusting than the head being cut off.
I know, it's like he's ugly crying, just rubbing his face on his dead wife's foot.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Actually, the grossest thing in that whole movie is this next part. So with a wound full of maggots,
oh yeah,
so gross. Slave traders find Maximus and take him to, how do you say that? Zucabar?
Sure.
A rugged province in North Africa, where he is purchased by Proximo, the head of a gladiator school. Distraught and nihilistic over the death of his family and betrayal by his empire, Maximus initially refuses the fight, but as he defends himself in the arena, his formidable combat skills lead to rise in popularity with the audience. Like, the gladiator stuff is so good.
I love though, like a lot of times in this movie they have Russell Crowe or Maximus. He's kind of moving, like he'll be floating along, and he's in this like dream state.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then as it goes back to reality, he's in he's in this vehicle, he's in that cage. But it's
like when he's like close to death almost because of his wound. Yeah,
it was really cool how they did that.
Yeah, and so Maximus befriends Hagen, and a Germanic barbarian, and Juba, a Numidian hunter. Juba becomes a close friend and confidant of the grieving Maximus, and the two speak frequently of afterlife, and Maximus eventually Maximus's eventual reunification with his family. I don't know why. I try to be fancy with the wording on this one.
It's all right.
Looked up words.
I really liked Proximo when you first meet him, and he's talking
He's
about
great.
he meets that trader and he grabs him by the balls.
Yeah.
It's like, you sold me 2 giraffes that won't mate. But for when I watched it, 15 years ago, I thought he said that you sold me 2 giraffes that won't paint. I thought they were supposed to be painting giraffes this whole time.
Man, that would have been wild. That would have been crazy.
Well, I mean, because people selling. That's where the term like flying carpet came from. It's where people would just say anything to sell you something.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought was going on. But
man, that would have been so good if it just like pans over to the side and you just see 2 giraffes as painted.
Like they've got berets and like.
Yeah. We giraffe. You like this, no? But what do you think about the Germanic barbarian, the giant guy? He rules, man.
He does rule.
He's so cool in this film.
He's cool. Like he's just testing out,
especially when he gets shot in the
leg,
the calf, and he's just like, "Who cares? I'm breaking it."
Yeah, he just snaps it off and keeps going.
Yeah, it's great.
He's a beast.
So we cut to Rome. This is where we get the classic Ridley Scott weird color correction where everything turns blue.
Yeah,
just something
awesome.
he does in all his movies now. And I'm like, this movie doesn't ask for this.
Well, I think in a lot of the scenes where Maximus is dreaming, everything turns that like twilight blue, and like it's supposed to represent Elysium, in the afterlife, which I think, according to video games that I've played, Elysium is blue.
Oh, really? Nice.
Maybe because it's twilight all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which I guess for Commodus, this is like, for him, this is like his Elysium. He finally is in charge of Rome.
Elysium's supposed to be for heroes.
Yeah, well, he's thinking like he's a hero.
He's a hero.
Yeah, exactly. Because they do say whenever he comes up, it's like, oh, he's like a war-torn hero or something.
Returning
back
like
from
a conquering
battle.
hero.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But we see some senators, they're talking about Commodus. Some of them don't like them. One of them really likes him and wants to be his bestie. They have a Senate meeting with him, but he doesn't care about any of it. Like, there's like a plague. They're worried about the plague, and he's like, whatever.
Yeah,
I will hug them. He's like, would you hug someone with the plague?
It's yucky.
Yeah. And we learn he wants to completely get rid of the Senate. He wants to be just the ruler. He wants to be the only one that makes the rules. What do you call that? I'm totally blanking.
You mean like the oh gosh.
Dude, what is happening to my brain today?
It's the
dictator.
Dictator.
They call me dictator. That's a classic.
That's awesome.
Blue collar joke.
There's your trap.
Bringing it back from Saul.
There's your trap.
Should have Devin on this episode. So Commodus decides to reopen the gladiatorial games to commemorate his father's death, declaring 150 days of celebration in a bid to win the affections of the Roman populace.
He just wants love. All you need is love.
It's really a good idea, though.
It is a fucking cool idea. And we still do that now.
Yeah.
Just with other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we got the Olympics, right? It's all for people to be like, yeah, our team wins.
I think they should bring back Bloodsport. I don't know.
Like the movie Bloodsport remake.
Oh, no, that movie's kind of sucked.
Yeah, that movie kind of rolls, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's cool. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's a bad movie.
Kicking ass.
It's a bad,
glass on
fun
his
movie.
fists.
Yeah,
that was cool. If they would have done that for this movie, that would have been
He's blind at the end. Maximus is just like trying to feel the wind, find Commodus.
Dips his hand in glass.
Yeah.
Let's go, Commodus.
So we're back to Africa. Maximus makes quick work in the gladiator arena, throws a sword. Are you not entertained?
Yeah,
Are you not entertained?
This fight scene was cool.
Yeah.
Like when they first run out the gate and the guy's swinging the big ball
Oh,
around.
and just immediately
clocks him in the face.
Yeah, it's so good. Just makes quick work of everybody. So Proximo's company of gladiators is hired to participate. Proximo tells Maximus that his abilities as a fighter won't be enough in Rome. He needs to win the affections of the audience. Maximus at first doesn't like the idea of playing to the crowd, but Proximo explains that it might save his life, revealing that he himself used to be a gladiator, and after gaining popularity was freed by the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He shows Maximus a ceremonial wooden sword he received at the time. Maximus is credulous at first, You knew Marcus Aurelius? But then realizes his strategy might get him close enough to Commodus to get his revenge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I think my fights mixed up because that fight where he says, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah.
He just went out by himself.
Yeah, he was by himself. Because Proximo is just like, you're good, dude. You don't need any help.
Like they were all in there, but Max is just like, I got this.
Well, at that point, I think he's being declared as champion of this gladiator arena. Yeah, it's great though. Oh God, I love it. I love his little wooden sword. He gave me this sword. I'm like, that's it? That's all he gave you, dude? Maybe give you some gold or something. So we cut to Commodus staring over Lucius. He's very jelly.
Oh, man.
He's still brooding over the Senate. Yeah, he asked his sister to sleep with him.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Oh.
Boy, straight a freak.
He's got some weird ideas of love.
Yeah, he's such a weirdo.
But he's perfect at
Walking
it.
Phoenix is so good at being a weirdo.
He's the best weirdo.
I just feel like his sister, since like they were like 10, has just been, here comes my brother. Jesus Christ, dude. I need to get married stat.
Yeah, like he won't stop looking at me.
It's like, dang
weird.
it. It's like, hey, y'all two go play in your room. She's like, I don't want to.
No, don't leave me
Please
alone.
don't. It's just me coming up with excuses to leave the room.
Gross.
So, and then we cut to Maximus. He's in his little cell waiting to go out into the Gladiator arena in Rome. There's the awesome shot of the Colosseum as they're entering. They're like, how could they build this?
It's fucking cool.
But before the games, Lucius talks to Maximus. By the end, Maximus realizes this is Lucilia's son. He's like, "You're who?" Which makes him. He like goes into the corner, like hiding behind a pillar. I'm like, "What are we doing?" I guess he doesn't want to be recognized at this point.
I wouldn't either.
Even though nobody in Rome would know him except for Commodus and Lucilia and maybe a senator or two, because he's. Earlier, Marcus Aurelius says that, oh, no, like you've never been to Rome.
Right. Yeah, he's never even been there, but he gets protected.
Like you love Rome so much and you've never been.
Yeah.
So in a recreation of the Battle of Carthage at the Colosseum, which apparently is wrong. Apparently it was the Battle of Zuma.
Oh.
So they got that wrong, I guess, in the movie. Maximus leads Proximo's gladiators to a decisive victory against a more powerful force, much to the amazement of the crowd. He's like telling them to follow his orders, and like if he asks if they're in the army, and they're like, "If you stay with me, we'll all survive." It's just
so
cool. You got cards flipping. Got an old girl. She gets cut in half by things.
Oh, yes.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, wait, this is so cool."
she gets bisected by the spinning blade on the wheel.
I mean, just like this is Ridley Scott, like at his best with action. It's so. They took so much care into making these action scenes so good. I mean,
and they look incredible. Max's his helmet, it just looks terrifying.
Yeah, it's great. So iconic. I don't know. It's just if these scenes just didn't get your blood pumping, I don't think the movie would have worked. But it's just no wonder everybody likes this movie.
So it was just how he commanded them. He told him he's like stick together, shield wall.
Yeah,
and then he like. Diamond shape.
Yeah,
they fucked up
because even though we're supposed to already be on his side, but like after this, it's like, oh no, Maximus is the dude. Like, let's go. He rules. Now you understand why people are like, oh no, we need to stay with this guy. This guy's great. And then like we're kind of like the audience in the Gladiator arena where we're just like, yes, more violence.
Yeah.
And this guy rules. I hope he kills Commodus.
I do. And I wish that they would have made have you ever seen the show Sparta?
Yeah. Or
Spartan.
Crap, what is it called? I do know what you're talking about, yeah.
But when every time they cut to the crowd, it's just like women got their tits out.
Yeah, it's
and
wild.
People are drunk and like just going nuts.
Oh, isn't it like Spartacus?
Yeah, Spartacus maybe?
Something like that, yeah. I do know what you're talking about. I used to watch that show all the time.
It was so boobalicious.
It was kind of I don't know if it was before Game of Thrones or if it was around the same time as Game of Thrones, but they seemed like one and one together almost.
Oh, so cool.
Just because it was like, here's the action for the guys, here's the romance for the girls, and they're all great.
And there's something that they did in that show that I saw in this movie. They'll have like a scene. They'll have like your scene you're watching, but the background will be like wild ass fucking clouds going fast.
Yeah, it was very almost kind of 300-esque.
Yes.
It's definitely inspired by 300. You could feel it because it had like a lot of like speed ramping with the camera and editing to where it's like slow, fast. Yeah, it was great. I only watched the first season of it, but I did enjoy it because I had stars at the time and I was like, oh, this movie's cool. And I'm younger. Boobs.
Oh, so many boobs.
Hell yeah, let's go. So Commodus, I love this during the scene because you see Commodus just like out there like, this is metal, bro. He talks to like the weird guy with the wig who's like introduces the gladiator
He's got
thing.
The
He's
wild
like,
eyebrows.
now remind me, isn't in the Battle of Carthage, didn't the barbarians lose because the gladiators are supposed to be the barbarians?
Yeah, they were just supposed to be fodder.
He's like, it's okay. I like surprises. So Commodus is like, I want to meet this Spaniard. Commodus descends into the arena to meet the victors. At first, Maximus turns his back on the emperor. A grave insult.
Whoa, they're
then
pissed.
Is stunned to discover that the leader of Proxima's gladiator is Maximus. He's got probably one of the best quotes and lines in movie ever. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, general of Felix's legions, and loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Hell yeah, you got my blood pumping right now.
Just even Snake's just like over here farting. He's so pumped up. Sitting on my foot, farting. Great. No, but seriously, whenever rewatching it, I was like, oh my God. That's so good. That's so good. And it's funny because, like, yeah, anybody else saying that line, it probably sucks, but that was a really good, he's
fucking cool.
Russell Crowe, man. He can do it. He's crazy now.
This is where I thought you were mad at the kid because when he reaches down to bow and he picks up that arrowhead, he's like, I'm going to kill Commodus right now. But then the kid runs up. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Just kill him. Just do it. It'd be great. People in the audience would be like, what? This is cool. Let's go. So the emperor, unable to kill Maximus because of the crowd's roaring approval for him, gives the thumbs up.
Yeah, he's like telling him to hush. He's doing the finger thing. Like, no.
And then he like sulks out of the arena. Like,
yeah.
Dang it.
Oh man.
I almost went into my Cartman voice. God dang it. But 5 stars at this point in the movie because this is a perfect scene. Everything about this was great. Yep. So movie perfect. So Commodus is all pissy and wondering why Maximus is alive. He says, why did they lie?
He's still alive, sister.
Like, why did they all cheer for him? That vexes me. I'm terribly vexed.
Yes.
And he's like, why? It's like, if they all, like, they told me that he was dead. They lied to me. If they lie to me, then they don't respect me.
They don't love me.
Lucilia's like, dude, you're so weird.
You're a lie.
I hate that you're my brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't kill me.
And Lucilia visits Maximus, realizing, oh, snap, this might be a chance for me to get out of this situation. Maximus is mad at her, though, because she's like, you knew. He's like, I didn't know. Yes, you did. She tells him she is just as scared and a prisoner as he is. Her son is the heir to the throne, so she is constantly in danger, and so is he. She says that Maximus is the only chance to get rid of Commodus. She asks him to meet with Senator Gracchus, yes, who he can help him overthrow Commodus, but Maximus refuses. He's just like, I'm just going to die. Like, I'm just going to fight till I die, essentially. Or until he gets his chance in the arena, I guess, to kill him.
Hell yeah.
Whenever Lucius, this isn't around. Pipsqueak. Then we get a little fun scene between the 3 pals, Juba and the Hagen.
Oh, when they're eating?
Yeah. They're like, hey, get your food, Maximus. And he's like, Juba's like, don't
do it, man. They're going to poison you.
And then Hagen picks it up. It's really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then we hear the game's horns. The games continue. Commodus pits Maximus against Tigris of Gaul, Rome's only undefeated gladiator, in an arena surrounded by chained tigers with handlers instructed to target Maximus. Following an intense battle, Maximus narrowly defeats.
Yeah, I love how shiny Tigris is.
Yeah, he's great. He rules. I feel bad for him. And he awaits Commodus' decision to kill or spare. Though Commodus votes for death, Maximus spares his life, deliberately insulting the emperor and garnering the audience's approval with his bitter enemy, now known as Maximus the Merciful, Commodus becomes more frustrated at his inability to kill Maximus or stop his ascending popularity, while Commodus's own popularity shrinks.
Yeah, he has to, every time he fucking wins, he's got to call out his buddies and then like surround them and give them a
Yeah.
stern talking.
It's
to.
like, oh, I'm gonna
I'm
get
so
ya.
vexed at you right now.
I'm very vexed. So, following the fight, Maximus meets his former servant Cicero, who reveals that Maximus's army remains loyal to him. They are camped at the port of Ostia. He also hands Maximus the 2 small wooden idols of his wife and son that he carried with him as a soldier in general. He's like, I just need the idol of my wife.
Yeah.
Got some cranking to do.
I got some cranking. Why is Cicero's face all fucked up?
I don't know. I assume he probably got it in battle, maybe, or imprisonment
probably.
at some point. It's like I don't really know the story of.
And isn't Cicero like? There's a story of Cicero as a romantic
Something like
person who would like he would tell the other guy what to say to woo this woman.
Yeah, I do remember that. I was thinking
supposed to be ugly.
Yeah,
but he was like poetic.
I don't know if it's like the same guy.
I don't think it's the same.
I mean, they only had like 5 names back in the day.
Yeah, there's no.
Most of them start with M, as we learn. Commodus is being told by a senator that he should just kill him, but Commodus is like, I can't do that. I don't want to make a martyr of him. He is told to let the enemies come to him and reveal themselves. It's a cool way of saying it.
The sea snake analogy.
Yeah, the sea snake. Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
I know. I was going to write all that down and say it, but I was like, nah. Lucilia, increasingly fearful of her brother's instability and incestuous desires, forms
it's so weird.
A plot with Maximus and Senator Gracchus to reunite Maximus with his army and overthrow Commodus, because there's a point where Cicero is like, hey, lady.
Pull over.
It's like they all want to, everybody's ready to fight, so let's do this. And she's like, oh, thanks. By the way, here's some money.
For your loyalty.
Get that face fixed, bro. So Proximo is concerned with the plot to kill Commodus, saying that he's an entertainer and Commodus makes him rich. But Maximus tells him Commodus killed the man who set Proximo free.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. Lucilia tells Maximus that Commodus, there's some points in my notes where I wrote Commodus is commodious. And I was like, I forgot to fix it. But he is a big old toilet man. So Lucilia tells Maximus that Commodus had Gracchus arrested and he has to leave tonight. They smooch.
Yeah, they smooch real hard. And then like, as the escape scene is happening, are they going and killing all the senators? Is that what's happening?
So,
like, because they put a snake in that one dude's
bed.
Yeah,
they're killing the senators that aren't gonna follow him.
Okay.
Yeah, they're probably gonna leave the one good one, the one that's like with Commodus alive. Yeah, he'll probably be his right hand man.
Gotcha.
Commodus, however, learns of his sister's betrayal from her young son Lucius, who's practicing to be a gladiator. And says, "Oh, he's gonna free Rome." It's like, dude, you just told the Caesar.
Ooh, yeah.
Of the plot, like, what are you doing? You don't think? I guess you're just like born a kid and spoiled and just like, no one can hurt me. I'm the heir to the throne eventually.
Oh man.
Dumbass kid. So like he essentially threatens the boy like in front of Lucilia. The boy's like, I don't understand any of this. And now she's powerless and must do whatever Commodus demands of her.
Fucked up.
The Praetorian guards immediately storm Proximo's gladiators' barracks, battling the gladiators while Maximus escapes. Hagen and Proximo are killed in the siege, rip. While Juba and the survivors are imprisoned, Maximus escapes the city walls only to be ambushed by a cohort of the Praetorian guards who uses Cicero as bait, killing him as soon as Maximus comes out in the open.
That fucking sucks.
Sucks. Like some like, 2 of the best characters die. Well, I like Cicero too, but it's like, dude, you should have known that was obviously a trap, right? I mean, he was just like standing, I'm just out in the open over here.
I think he kind of felt like it could have been a trap.
Yeah.
But he was just doing whatever he could to escape.
I mean, there's nothing else he could have done, right? I mean,
there's a lot of dudes waiting on him out there.
Yeah, exactly. So Commodus says that Lucius will stay with him now, and there's a lot of more threats to her, saying like, "You have to do whatever I want. We're gonna do it."
Oh man, love me with your mouth.
So, concluding that legends born in the Colosseum must die there, Commodus personally challenges Maximus to a duel in front of the roaring audience, acknowledging that Maximus's skill exceeds his own. Commodus deliberately stabs Maximus with a stiletto, puncturing his lung, and has the wound concealed beneath the gladiator armory.
I didn't know it punctured his lung.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, dude, you should probably stab both lungs.
Well,
like,
they would have bled out too soon.
It was just one stab. I was like, dude, like maybe like stab him in the lung and then just like maybe a little bit in the leg, like the thigh, so he can't move as well. I mean, you're the Caesar. I mean, so what if they know? Oh, he seemed a little injured. I mean, it's like, oh, what did you say? You're dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Commodus collapses in the now silent Colosseum, Maximus. Oh, so there's the whole in the arena. The two exchange blows before Maximus rips the sword from Commodus's hands. Commodus is like demanding a sword from the guards, but they ordered by one of the leaders. Yeah. They refuse. It's the one from the beginning that was like, why are you armed? And he's like, sorry, Commodus, we have to, or sorry, Maximus, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And he's like, what of my wife and kids? And he's like, they will be burned.
Yeah,
they will meet you in the afterlife. He's like, God.
That sucked.
So,
but then he finally has like a little heart.
Yeah.
He's like, this emperor sucks.
It's like, yeah, y'all can't have his weapons. And as he slips closer to death, Maximus, hallucinating over his home in Spain, drops his own sword, and Commodus pulls a hidden stiletto and renews his attack. Maximus then beats Commodus into submission and kills him with his own stiletto.
Yes. Stabs him in the neck.
Yeah, it's great.
Just like turns his own hand around. It's like, slowly stab. That's the worst way to be stabbed.
It's so gratifying, dude.
It's really good.
I wish it was almost a little more painful.
I know. I kind of wish he would have like dismembered him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just rip him. Where's the tigers?
Oh, yeah. Throws him in a tiger pit.
Yeah, that'd be great. So as Commodus collapses in the now silent Colosseum, Maximus still sees his wife and son in the afterlife. He reaches for them, but is pulled back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity. By the Praetorian, by one of the guards who asks him for instructions. Maximus orders the release of Proximo's gladiators and Senator Gracchus, whom he reinstates and instructs to lead the restoration of power to the Senate as Marcus Aurelius intended. Rome will be a republic again.
Fuck yeah, man. Democracy.
Nailed it. Killed it. Way to go, Maximus. Maximus collapses and Lucilia rushes to his side. After being reassured that her son is safe and Commodus is dead, Maximus dies and wanders into the afterlife to his home and family in the distance. Senator Gracchus and Proximo's gladiators carry his body out of the Colosseum. That night,
they just leave the emperor's body just sitting there.
It's like, all right, crowd, get him. And then Juba buries Maximus 2 small statues of his wife and son in the Colosseum in the patch of Maximus's blood, and says that he too will eventually join him, but not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
And that's the film. Next year, there's a Gladiator 2.
Is there?
Yeah. I wonder what it's going to be about. I hope it's about this character.
Oh, man.
That'd be great.
That would be
Follow
awesome.
up, Juba.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. It's been too long since we've had a good
we got to
Gladiator
get back
movie.
to the Gladiator. I just wonder when it's going to take place, like before this or after this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I wonder if it's going to be a prequel or a sequel. I mean,
that's interesting.
Or are they just going to break? Maximus is back. It's a zombie film.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I should have looked up what it's going to be about, but I kind of also don't want to know. I just want to be surprised.
I want to be surprised too.
So, we are going to cut to our categories. The first category, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. This is where we talk about the good of the film. Something that we liked. The scene, the actors. Good. The bad, something we didn't like. The ugly, something that we don't think that aged well. And the fine, something we do think aged well. What do you think aged well? Or what do you think the good is?
There's so much good. I really love the music. Like whenever
Hans Zimmer, baby.
Whenever he would go into his dream world, to Elysium, he was thinking about it, and you just hear like the chorus, I guess, or the choir, or whoever's doing it.
Yeah.
It sounded so like, I don't know how to say it, like just eerie and kind of like happy. And,
yeah, it's like a very dream state type of sound.
Yeah,
and
that was fucking cool. Really makes you feel dreamy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the soundtrack it's like one of the most bought soundtracks ever, actually.
Bought?
Yeah, like people used to buy soundtracks.
Oh, okay.
It was one of the most popular and one of the most purchased
fucking ruled.
soundtracks. I'll go Russell Crowe and Walking Phoenix. They nail it.
Yeah,
and they're great.
So good.
But then you also have I like the lack of CGI in the battles. Like I'm fine with the CGI and like showing the Colosseum and like Rome. Like I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like not using fake blood, not using, just there's just not CGI everywhere, which is all we get now.
And it looks so, and they did such a good job
Mm-hmm.
making it look real.
The choreography of the fights, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Man. We need a movie like this every year. I feel like I say that in every movie.
Would have been cool if the chariots would like explode.
Yeah.
Whenever they hit.
It's like they shoot an arrow, it just explodes for no reason. Like they do in like movies with guns and cars. It's like just always exploding. All right, so what do you got for the bad of the film?
Not enough explosions, I guess.
Yeah. I only really got one. It's that the third act just kind of happens, and it happens fast.
Yeah, it does. It really cuts to him being like a champion, and then
immediately it's like, oh, you have to leave tonight.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody's dying now. Oh, it's like I feel like it's 20 minutes, and it's just all that happens. He kills Commodus, and then all that ends. I was like, that was fast.
It was very, very fast, and I feel like they missed out where they could have told like a cool story about him escaping.
Yeah,
but
I just feel like they could have.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's just there's so much detail at the beginning and the middle, and it just seems like they're like, we got to land this now.
Yeah.
How are we landing it? Which might be the issues with the script. We got to cut
this under 4 hours.
Yeah. The thing is, man, like this movie, part of the good is just that this movie like goes.
Yeah.
Like whenever I was watching it this morning to take some notes, I was like, oh my gosh, dude. Like I just watched this movie for 2 hours.
I felt
like I just started it.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
But until you get to this point, and then you kind of see that.
You're like, whoa, like now this is going really fast.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So what do you got for the ugly? It's kind of tough. Something that
it is tough.
I mean,
I guess
it's kind of hard when
it is
it's about Rome. Just how crappy people were back in the day.
Yeah, they were pretty crappy. I mean, and it's your sister, man.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Does not age well. Things we used to do back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you gotta keep it in the family, baby.
Yeah. My ugly I guess this is just like the general story of, like back in the day when they used tigers and like real animals for everything.
Sucked.
They're pretty much just torturing animals.
They used, I think, they used a lot of elephants also.
Yeah, back in the day,
creatures that are now kind of endangered.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I think kind of the ugly using real tigers in the actual movie. That sucks for them. I mean, I know zoos have them, but they're trying to keep them from being endangered. But also, just like now, we can't use real animals because too many animal attacks.
Because you have to, whenever you see like if you go to the circus that has animals like that, they have to order like 10 times the number of animals that you actually see, because just to get one alive, like shipped to you, because 90% of them are gonna die on the way to get to you.
Yeah, I mean they're so stressed they probably have
it's not good for them.
Yeah, definitely not good. Not good. Very bad. Not fine.
Yeah, that is ugly as fuck.
All right, so something that aged well about the movie. Mine is just the Sword and Shield films.
Sword and Shield, my first for blood.
Yeah.
It was quenched thoroughly.
They're always so gruesome,
Yes.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's cool to see what it was like back in those times where it's just like, man, you get like one sword stab and it's like, you're dead, man. There's nothing we can do.
There's that one scene where when they're the Battle of Carthage, when he finally got on a horse and he slashes that one chick's throat. And just like an explosion of blood. And the crowd is cheering. And you're like, yes!
This is cool. No, I think it's just kind of crazy. I remember I was watching something and it was just about like professional sword fighters, like back, like they'll duel with swords, and it's like back in the day, like 1800s or whatever. And it would just be a thing where, like, it wasn't extravagant sword fights, right? Like they'd like parry and stuff like that. But then, like, soon as like they nick them with a blade, it'd be like, all right, fight's over. They'd walk off.
Yeah.
Because they're just gonna die that night because they didn't have medicine. They didn't have.
And a lot of the time, slaves were expensive. Humans are expensive. Apparently, they didn't want the gladiators. A lot of them, they didn't want them to die because they wanted them to fight the next day. Or
that was kind of like Proximo. Whenever they first go to Rome, it's like you're gonna have them fight like these guys. Then, like they're all gonna die immediately. That's all. That's all my gladiators. Like we can't do this. And he's like, "Do you want to get paid or not?" Luckily for Proximo, he had a straight beast up in there. Well, and
a couple.
But then Proximo dies. Yeah. So we'll go to our next part, which is the double feature, a movie that you think would pair well with this. Did you come up with anything?
Well, I was thinking of like Spartacus. It was a cool show to watch, like with this.
Even the movie.
Is there a movie?
1950s, Stanley Kubrick, Spartacus. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, okay, I've seen that one.
It's like 3 hours long as well. Longer than this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
movie's fun.
I love movies about like Roman mythology and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess something like that, like the story of what's it called? The guy that had like there's the scorpion and the scorpions and like the fucking
frog. Scorpion and the frog.
No. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Scorpion King.
No, but like there's the giant sea monster comes out and he's got to like fight Medusa.
Oh, like has Odysseus and stuff in it? Like the Odyssey, Iliad?
Not
something
the Iliad. I can't remember right now.
It's okay.
But something like that, or Spartacus.
Yeah, that's a fun TV show.
That's a fun show.
Yeah, or Game of Thrones. You can watch Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, sick.
Watch the first 4 seasons; they're the best. I chose The Northman. You seen it?
Nice.
That
yes.
movie rules.
It does.
I think it's like perfect. It's not Roman mythology or like thing. It's like Nordic mythology and stuff like that. It's really great. It's visceral. It's rough. It's great. Swords, shields. Not as much shields. They're just straight up just killing each other with axes and stuff. And there's like the dope one-shot scene where he's like climbing up. They're like invading this little town and they're pillaging it.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Insane. But that movie rules. It's Robert Eggers. Check it out.
There was one scene and that I saw in Gladiator. And it kind of reminded me of those old movies with the about Rome and the mythology. There's like a model of the Colosseum, and that dude like gets a little doll and he puts it in there. And in those old movies, they always cut to picture like whenever they show the gods.
Yeah,
they're all like around this model, and they have little figurines, and they're putting them in places, and they're like fucking with people's fates.
Yeah, and
that kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I thought that's why.
Yeah, that's great.
It's kind of a cool callback to some of those old films.
Yeah. There's before we finish up here, I was listening. There's this podcast called How to Survive a Horror Movie.
Oh, neat.
It's really great. And like I tweeted at him one day because they did the film The Blair Witch, the new one that directed by Adam Wingard. I was like, you should do your next. He's like, oh, we just might be doing it. And then I was listening to the episode yesterday and they mentioned us that I tweeted them.
Oh, nice.
So I just wanted to shout out anybody that's looking for like a horror movie podcast. They're great. How to Survive a Horror Movie.
Thanks.
Just look it up. It's just a cool idea because they have rules of like horror movies.
Oh, nice.
There's things like one of the rules is like realize you're in a horror movie. And it's like just things like that, like don't split up. All the like cliches you get from horror movies, but they have like certain rules, and it's just a really like interesting podcast.
I remember the name of that movie I was thinking about. It's called Clash of the Titans.
Oh, Clash of the Titans. Yeah. I've actually never seen that one. I do kind of want to watch a lot of movies like that. There's a couple with what's his name? The guy in 300.
The guy who died from cancer.
Gerard Butler. You know Butler. Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler. I'm struggling. But anyways, so that's our episode on that, on Gladiator. Great.
Oh, man.
5
Such
stars.
a great watch.
I give it 5 swords and shields.
5 decapitations.
I give it 5 commodes. Commodiouses. But I would like to, next week we are doing Godzilla. We're going to have our buddy Dakota on it.
Sweet.
It's great. We already actually recorded the episode. It's a great episode.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Love having guests. It's wonderful. That movie's great. And 2 of the 3 people on it almost fell asleep during the movie. I won't tell you who.
No, I did fall asleep too. Not almost.
It's great. It's just an older movie. I understand. No, but Godzilla rules. Love the guy. He's one of my top best friends. So I'd like to thank Joey Prosser for doing our intro and producing our music. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. And if you want to follow us on social media or listen to us on another platform, follow our link tree at linktree/We Recommend Podcast. And yeah, I guess that's it. You got anything else, bro?
You're all Knuff.
Yes, you're Knuff. I'm wearing my tie-dye I'm Knuff sweatshirt. Leave reviews.
Yes, please.
Give us 5 stars, please. Tell your friends about us. Like, we're cool people
Be
to
amazing.
tell your friends about. Like, yeah, I know this guy Jesse
We
and
wanna do
Jason.
more
They're
shows.
they're pretty cool, you know. But yeah, so this has been the We Recommend Podcast. I'm Jesse,
I've been Jason.
and what we do in life echoes in eternity. See you next week.
Yes!
Bye.
Bye.